Hello dear students, welcome back to our history class. Today once again I am here to talk with you about a new lesson. So dear friends, today we are going to learn a new lesson, that is ancient India and the world. Means, as I told you in the beginning, I told you that in this course we have to learn about the ancient India, and up to last lesson we studied about the ancient India. So in this lesson, while learning about ancient India, at the same time we have to know about the world. Means we have to do contemporary study of the ancient India, as well as we have also studied about the world. So therefore our lesson name is Ancient India and the World. So students, first of all we will learn about the India and the countries of the West. Then we have also studied about the India and the other countries in Asia. So means in this lesson we have to know about the India and how India's relations were there with the countries of the West, as well as with the countries of the Asia continent. As you know that Asia is one of the biggest continent among the 7 continents. So about this we have to study in this lesson. So student, first we have to know about the India and the countries of the West. In the previous lesson, that is in Harappan civilization, we came to know that Harappan civilization people were established their relation with the Western countries through the trade. So here again we have to know that people of the Harappan civilization had developed trade relations with the countries of the West. As I told you that Harappan civilization people developed trade relations with the Western countries. And when the Harappan civilization people developed this trade relation with the Western countries, from that time India had economic and cultural exchange with the outside world. Means when India came into contact with the other countries through the trade, at that time there was economic and cultural exchange were there of India with the another countries, because the relations were developed through the trade. Second thing, religious exchange were also there, because Buddhism was spread in Afghanistan, in Sri Lanka, in other countries. Buddhism spread. So through these also the relations were established with the countries of the world. In this way, India's contacts with the Western world increase. Second thing, we have to know that the Greek historians who accompanied with Alexander, means when Alexander invaded over India, at that time some Greek historians were also came to India along with the Alexander, because they were eager to know more about the India. They came to India, they studied about India, and they wrote about the India. And through their writings, India came into light of Western world. Means the Greek historian writings introduced India with the Western world. Second thing, the routes which were later used by Alexander, these routes opened the doors of trade between India and the Western world. Means, as you know that Alexander came to India through the northwestern region. So which routes were used by Alexander? So these routes opened the doors of trade between India and Western world. Means by using these same routes, the trade was carried out between India and the Western countries. Then we also studied about the Greek sculpture art. So under the influence of the Greek art of sculpture, a new form of the art emerged in India during the Kushan period. Means that when the Greek people came to India, so they had an art, that is sculpture art. So these Greek art influenced Indian art also. And due to this, in India during ancient times, ancient times in our India, and due to this influence of Greek art in our India also, the school of art emerged. And name of that school of art is Gandhar School of Art, which was emerged due to the influence of Greek art. And this Gandhar School of Art was famous in ancient times. So students, in the Gandhar art school, images of Gautam Buddha were mainly carved. Means with the help of Gandhar art, images of Gautam Buddha carved. So there will be question that images of Gautam Buddha were carved by which art? So the answer will be Gandhar art. And Gandhar is the name of region. Nowadays Gandhar is in Afghanistan. So due to this name of region, because in this area the school was emerged, therefore this school is also known as Gandhar School of Art. Today Gandhar is in Afghanistan. And due to this name of region, that is Gandhar, this art is also known as Gandhar style. Second thing, we have to know the facial features of the statues made in this style, means Gandhar style, were similar to these of the Greek people. Means the statues which were made with the help of Gandhar style, the statues made in India while using Gandhar style. So these statues' facial expressions were similar to the Greek people, because the reason is clear. After all, the Gandhar style was influenced by the Greek art or Greek styles. Therefore, there was a similarity between the facial features of the statues and the Greek peoples. We have also studied about the Greek coins. That the Greek coins has some characteristic that one side of the Greek coin was occupied by the image and name of the king who minted the coin. Another side of the coin was occupied with the image of Greek god. These are the characteristics of the Greek already studied. And many Indian kings also follow this style. Means they also minted their own coins like Greek coins. So students, as I told you that India came into contact with the Western world through the trade, and at that time the trade was carried out with the help of ports. So here they are telling us that Alexandria was an important port in Egypt. Port is the name of place from where the trade is carried out. So here the Alexandria, which is an important port, and this Alexandria port is in Egypt. So the Arab merchants means traders. So the Arab merchants carried Indian goods up to the Alexandria. Means the Arab traders were carried Indian goods up to the Alexandria port, and from there they were sent to the countries in Europe. Means Arab merchants were carrying the Indian goods up to the Alexandria port, which is in Egypt, and from that port they were exporting these Indian goods to the countries which are in Europe. Listen once again, Arab merchants were carrying out Indian goods from India to Alexandria port, and from Alexandria port they were sending these goods to the countries in Europe continent. Not only Indian goods they were exporting. Beside Indian goods, the Arabs were also influenced by Indian philosophy and Indian science, because through the trade, they also interacted with the India. And not only by the Indian goods, but by the Indian philosophy and Indian science, they were influenced. And students, as you know that the concept of zero is one of India's major contribution to the world. Means in mathematical operations we are using zero. So this concept was the concept of zero was invented in India by Indian mathematician. So this is the biggest contribution of India to the world. And the Arab traders introduced this Indian concept to Europe. Means the invention of zero is an Indian concept. So the Arab traders introduced this concept to the Europe. So students, in this way we studied about India and the countries of the West. Now we have to know about the India and the other countries of. So now we have to know about India and the other countries in Asia. India is also one of the most important country of Asia continent. So about other countries of Asia continent now we have to learn. So students, many countries in Asia were greatly influenced by the Indian culture of those times. Means in ancient times, many Asian countries were influenced by the Indian culture of that time. So first country is Sri Lanka. So now we have to know about the Sri Lanka. Now we are going to learn about Sri Lanka, and as you know that Emperor Ashoka had sent his own son Mahendra and his own daughter Sanghamitra to the Sri Lanka to spread the Buddhism. From that time, India had established relations with the Sri Lanka. And due to this, the Buddhism was spread into the Sri Lanka. And therefore, the name of Sanghamitra and Mahendra means their names are mentioned in the Sri Lankan Buddhist texts. Means in Sri Lanka there is also Buddhist text which is known as Sri Lankan Buddhist text. So in that Sri Lankan Buddhist text, the names of Mahendra and Sanghamitra are mentioned. And name of that Buddhist Sri Lankan text is Mahavansa. Okay, Mahavansa is the Sri Lankan Buddhist text in which Sanghamitra and Mahendra's name were mentioned. When Sanghamitra went to the Sri Lanka to spread Buddhism, at that time she carried a branch of the Bodhi tree along with her. And the Sri Lankan tradition believes that the Bodhi tree at Anuradhapur in Sri Lanka has grown from the same branch. Means in Sri Lanka at Anuradhapur there is also Bodhi tree, and the Sri Lankan tradition believes that the Bodhi tree which is at Anuradhapur had grown from the branch which was carried out by the Sanghamitra from India. So in this way you can understand that how India and Sri Lanka were interconnected through the religious tradition or religious culture. Plus now we have to know about China and the other countries. So right from the ancient times, India and China had established trade and cultural relations. Means from ancient times there were cultural relations and trade relations between India and China. Because Emperor Harshvardhan had sent his ambassador to the Chinese court. Emperor Harshvardhan was the famous ruler of Vardhan dynasty. So this Emperor Harshvardhan had sent his ambassador to the Chinese court to make friendly relation with the Chinese emperor. And not only this, the Chinese silk was known as Chinan Shuka. The Chinese silk, which is known as Chinan Shuka, had in great demand in India during ancient times. Means in ancient times in India there was a great demand for the Chinese silk. And the merchants in ancient India supplied Chinese silk to the western countries. Means the Indian merchants were importing the Chinese silk from the China, and after that they were exporting the same silk to the western countries. Second thing, we also studied about the Silk Route, because silk was carried out by using this route, therefore this route is known as Silk Route. So the land route by which the silk trade was carried out, it is known as Silk Route. So some ancient Indian places in India were connected to this Silk Route. For example, Nala Sopara near Mumbai in our Maharashtra state was one such a place. So students, in this way, today we learn about ancient India and the world. While learning this lesson, we came to know about India and the countries of the West. We also studied about the India and the countries of Asia. We also studied how the trade relations were developed between India and the western countries, and how India came into contact with the Asian countries. So in details we have studied about these all. So dear students, I hope you enjoyed this video and you understand this lesson. Thank you.